Hi everyone, this is Diane. I am ready to start working on the Little Red Riding Hood journal. I love this vintage cover. This is a very old one, and look at the beautiful illustration. And I found this great red calico. I have a nice big piece of that in my stash. And this brown vintage, I forgot what that kind of trim is called. And I'm not covering the back cover or the end papers because I like the color, the aged looking colors to go with this journal. I might put a label over this. I might include a label that the owner could glue over that if they want to, because they might want to leave that name there. So I have this all done and I love it. I love this cover. I'll probably put some corners, metal corners, because these are quite soft. All right, so I do have some pages prepared. And I have some washi tape here, my Amity Bloom washies. And I have some really nice trims handy just in case. These are what I need. And I've got some other supplies. So I did prepare some pieces to start working on this. So I'm using this as a guide. And I'm going to have fun translating these shabby chic decorations and pockets and tags into the more rustic and red and brown and yellows Little Red Riding Hood book. So let's see what we can do. I did prepare some of the pieces that I need to create. I haven't prepared any inserts just to like decorate the pages, pockets and whatnot. So here is a page I'm going to put on the front for a pocket, and I need to cut it down a little bit, but first I'm going to use this cutter, which is an old one. It's from Creative Memories. I got it at a yard sale. And this blade always wants to fall off, so I'm careful with it. And if that blade gets dull, so far it's doing fine. I don't know how to replace it. So there was one on here, so it probably fell off in its storage place. So I don't use this one because I just like this one. So if this one gets dull, I can use this blade if I can find it. All right, so this is going to go here. Let me see if I want it. I need it to be about an inch shorter, I think. First, I'll cut it this way in case I want to use this for something and don't want it to be that short. So the page is 5.5 inches. I'm going to cut it 5 3/8. Okay, that's good. Now I have selected some labels. These are all digitals, and I love this one, but it's kind of big. It does fit, but I'm not sure if it just looks too big. Let's try out the other ones. That's a good size, and I like the way that looks. I like that one. This is the same thing, but more aged looking. I think my favorite is this one. I'm going to save these with my stuff over here in case I would love to use this one in the journal somewhere. Okay, so just going to glue this on. I'll tell you guys, I have really been struggling for at least a week. Well, we had the heat wave and I struggled through that. It saps my energy. And I don't know. I don't think it's from the heat wave anymore, but I feel like I haven't recovered from it, or there's something else going on because I am just drained. I have no energy. I went for a walk this morning. I made myself go out and go for a walk, but I couldn't get very far. I was so tired. And I got home and, just got about my business here. Well, I guess I sat down and had breakfast. after I got home, but I'm just tired. We have a nice pocket. And I'm going to add a trim to the edge. I don't have to stamp on the inside because it's polka dotted. I could add some ephemera, like digital ephemera or stamped ephemera if I wanted to. I have this cotton trim, something a little earthy looking. I like that. I have this one, but it's narrower. I think I like the bigger one to be on the first page. And I'm not going to sew it. I'm just going to glue it. I am having a hard time eating because I have sore spots in my mouth. Dennis is working on that with me. So he did some work Thursday, and now I have other sore spots. So it's just gonna take some adjusting to get everything situated and to get my mouth used to the apparatus. I have this vellum. Instead of, I have a clear acetate with a print on it. I do have an acetate with some little flowers sprigged all over it, but they didn't show up on the polka dots. So I decided to go with this vellum. So this is perfect for Little Red Riding Hood because she's going through the forest to see her grandma. I did prepare a couple of tags to make to go in here, but I think that's all I did for thinking ahead for inserts. So I wonder if I want to put a trim along the top. I did not do that on the acetate, but I wonder if I want to for this. I have this brown and red. That could be nice. Or maybe this little gingham or plaid. I like that better. I believe that came from Sweden. When Eve sent me some trims, like this one and this one. Maybe all of these came from her. And I'm still using them because I kind of am skimpy with them. Oh, look at that. I had it on the card backwards. Even better. Yeah. Eve has an Etsy store, or she used to. I haven't checked in a long time. She has an Etsy store called The Snippet Shop, if you want to look her up. So I spent my morning time work down here. Oh, slap some glue down there. I spent my morning time down here prepping these pages and then prepping this work that we can do efficiently on camera. All right, so this tag is in the other journal, wallpaper tag. And so I'm going to, I cut a tag to use in this one, but I don't know where it is. I guess I can cut another one. I thought I was prepared. So in this pocket, the acetate pocket, I have this with wallpaper and this with embroidery transfer. But instead of the embroidery transfer, I'm going to use this little cutout from an old magazine. It says Little Red Riding Hood on that. I had to cut the tag a little taller. Okay, I'm just looking to make sure I don't have a tag, because I should have a tag. I don't know what happened to it. I'm going to put this wallpaper on the wallpaper tag, and I want to stamp some flowers on the background of her tag. So I have these pieces that were already cut, and this is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm having fun picking things out for this journal. I knew I would love making this journal. And it's pretty easy at this point because I'm mimicking what I did in the first journal. I'm making this one more of a themed journal, so I wouldn't call it eclectic. I want to go with the Red Riding Hood theme on this one. I'll just use this. Let me see. This kind of reinforcement I like to put on before I punch the hole. It's only one-sided. I only have one side of it. Okay. Well, I'll use this one because it has to be just the right distance from the top of the tag. Or I have done it where this was up a little too high and I just trimmed it, because I always forget that I want to measure this one or put this one on first. And then I put the first one on and then I punch the hole, so I'll know where to put the second one. It's a little bit crooked. These are not part of my Creative Expressions. I don't think they are. I'm sure they're not. The Creative Expressions eyelet strips that I have, that came with a tag die. use the brown. I'll leave the red out because I'm sure I'll use it. I think this one is one that Doris just sent me. She sent me some browns because I said I needed some. She asked me what colors I needed. She was so generous to send me some. I'm just going to cut this and then I will wet this and crumple it up and then tie it in. I do that with the ones that are folded around a card to kind of get rid of that fold. So that's going to be a nice tag in there. And on this one, I have this little stamp with flowers. And I'm just going to, I'm using soft suede from Stampin' Up. I think that'll be a good color. So I'm just going to stamp these. I need something to put behind it. I'll put a flower reinforcement on this one. I have some red ones. And I will put the seam binding in there. And on this side of the page, I have this flower to glue down. And I'm going to stamp Laugh, Play, Share on this little piece. Doesn't leave much space for doing what you want. So I think what I'll do is add a piece of paper for journaling on that. This was already stamped and in my stash, but I can hang it off of the page and then trim some off so it doesn't take up quite so much space. And then put that up there. And I'm going to ink this. And you have a nice place to journal there. I'm going to put a tuck spot on this, and I have this page from a book. I thought it was perfect. And I'll put it on this black and cut around it. Oh, I did at least prepare one insert for this pocket. I worked on preparing this page, and then after I got all this stuff ready, I realized all of that was just for one page. Maybe that's when I decided to not try to prepare the inserts. I can go back and do them later. This is the card that's going to go in there, and there's a girl on the back. She's wearing pink, but she can be a Little Red Riding Hood without her hood. So what I'm going to do on this is just add a scrap of lace or fabric, like a sheer fabric or something. I like this piece of dotted Swiss tulle. So I'm going to sew that on, and then on top of that, I will add this flower. So I'll be right back. And there will also be a plain postcard tucked in, so I might as well look for that while we're here. I'll just use one of those. That would be good if it was the Three Bears. But, I mean, she could see a bear in the woods. So this is done as far as we're going to work right now. Next we have a page, a book page. Oh, no, I'm not done. I need to add pom-pom trim to the edge here. I added it on the back. Fun. One page is done. The rest of them aren't that involved. So I don't think this one has anything additional done to it. Nope, I just hinged it. And I'm not using all of the book pages in this journal, so they're not in order. I just hinged it with a scrap of the leftover scrapbook paper. Then we have this sheet to write on. And this does have some small pockets. So I have a bunch of scraps that I can choose from to make small pockets. I'm going to measure these because I like the size of these. It'll make it a lot quicker if I just measure. Two and 3/8 by 3 1/4. I'll cut that one first before I forget. 2 3/8. I'm gonna cut that top row off. And I might get 2 whole rows of owls. Yep. By 3 1/4. Okay. And this one looks pretty similar. 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. Three 1/4, 2 1/4. And these scraps all go nicely with this book, so I'm going to keep them out in case I need them. I probably just picked up the one I cut, didn't I? Yep, there it is. Gonna put some rickrack on them. And I've got all these red digital labels and numbers and things. I like this round number 2. And I'll just glue them to the page at an angle. And I'll put some small cards and tags in them. I have a digital page. This is, this is Amity Bloom. And I put Amity Bloom tape on the edge because I printed this on the back, which is also an Amity Bloom kit. And it was narrower, so there was white space here. So I put it on here and then just wrapped it over. So on this edge, I'm going to see if I want to put a piece of fabric ruffle on it, even though I already did put some washi tape on it, like this little piece here. I think that would be fine. And these are ruffles I already had made in my stash. I don't have very many ruffles made, but I had the right colors for both journals. In the other journal, they were made by Carrie. These are made by me. Okay, we're making good progress. All right, here we have a glassine bag. I'm not going to make the inserts for it, but I'm just going to put a piece of trim. I have this gorgeous braid trim to put on the edge of the bag. And on this, I'm going to cut the top so it's open for a tag. I'm not doing a neat job. Okay. And I have some strips. I can choose a strip to put on this side. And then another strip will make the tag that goes inside. So these, I pulled out a bunch of ephemera from my Amity Bloom ephemera pouch. I have some pages printed from different kits and some ephemera printed, and these were in that. So I have to look and see. I was thinking these were not from Amity Bloom, but maybe they are. Maybe I just put them in the wrong pouch, but they're just what I need if they're the right colors to go on that. But I do like this too, and this is Amity Bloom. I like the red stitching at the top, so I think I'll use this, or that could be the tag inside. Let's do that. This is Amity Bloom, and I like that. This might be from Rosabella's kit. It's the name of the kit, but it's also Red Riding Hood, right? So and it fits on there, so I'm going to use that. Kind of looks like a button card, and you could write something there. Write the date or a quote or whatever. put a little picture or image there in that square. That would be nice. I'll leave that for you to do. So one of these will be the tag inside, and on the outside here, I'm going to add this picture from an old book. And this, so you can journal on this. And I think I'd rather have the image on this side. So let me see. I think I need to cut this down a little bit. Four and 3/4 by 4 3/4. That's what I said. Is it square? Yes, it's a square. 3/4 and 3/4 are the same thing. I don't want it to be shorter than this, so it is going to have to be taller than 4 3/4. So I'll glue this to the back, and then this will be a pocket. And then I'll glue this here. But that's why it's better to have the image on this side. But I don't think it's going to work. We're going to do it this way. Right? Yeah, like that. Yeah. Oh, no. I could have a pocket here. I'm still going to have white space to cover. No, that covers. I'm confusing myself. That will go there. This will go here. And I can cover that with pretty washi tape. And we'll have a pocket there. Okay, it's decided. I don't want it to stick out further than this because this is as wide as the pages in the book. So this can go all the way almost to the back. No. I'm doing it again, confusing myself again. But still, yes, all the way to the back. This way. Yes, this way. Oh my goodness, guys. should not have been that difficult. I'm going to stick this in here so I know that it's going to be in here, because I'll back it with something. And let's see if this washi tape is wide enough. Not quite. So I'll use it, but I'm going to look for a skinny one to use also. Like maybe this music one. These are all Amity Bloom. Oh, it's got print on it too, not just music. Okay, here's that. And we have a pocket on the back. Very good. I managed it. And that's all I prepared for, I guess. I have coffee dyed paper next, which will just have something clipped to it on this side and that side and that side and that side. So I'll just clip things to this when I come back and do the inserts. But I've been at this for quite a while. I don't know how much I'll edit out, so I'm going to stop the video for now. I'm going to keep on working though. I'll be back in the next video, and I will see you then. Have a creative day. Bye.